Just looking around the room, I was trying to gauge when people were at university, if they were at university. Who was at university between 95 and 2005? Right, yeah, thank you. Who was at university in the 80s? Right, and who was there before that? Yeah. Well, the world is a bit different. I just pulled this out. If you were at university between 95 and 2005, you were one of about a third to 40% of your age cohort, the 17 to 20 age cohort. So that line carries on going up beyond 2000, and you'd be between a third and 40% of the age cohort. If you were at university in the 1980s, you were probably one of about 15%. So there's been a huge difference in the participation rate since we went to university. 15% of that age cohort going to university is very different to what we've got now, because today we've got nearly half that age cohort going to university. And there they all are on their phones and their tablets. We've got a huge student population, nearly 2 million undergraduates and 500,000 postgraduates. We've got about 13% of them who are not even from the EU. That's grown in the last 10 years by about 100%. It's almost doubled. And out in the workforce there, we've got about 38% who are graduates. And perhaps more importantly, the student experience is very different. There are still libraries and lecture theatres, but most of what happens is in what they now call social learning spaces. And my daughter's just finished at university. And what they do is they take their laptop or their phone and they sit on the steps somewhere with a cardboard coffee and their phone, and they just do stuff wherever they are. And people come by and they chat to them, and they're completely mobile. And who is it from Exeter? Yes, at Exeter, Steve Smith, the Vice Chancellor, was telling me that you have more Wi-Fi usage in the Forum, which is this fabulous social learning space, new development of 3 years ago or something at Exeter. There's more Wi-Fi usage in there than the rest of the campus put together, because that's where it all happens. You know, you chat to your mates, you sit down, you have a coffee, you go on social media. You know, that's the hub, I think, of the campus, isn't it? So it is a very different experience to when we were at university. One of the problems is what's happened to part-time study. And at the risk of lobbying a bit, and UUK is a lobbying organisation, I just want to impress upon you what a collapse there's been in part-time university study. It's down by more than half since 2010 and 11, and employer sponsorship is down by 35% since 12-13. This is against some really good overall trends, and you're aware of when the tuition fee was trebled and there was a dip in overall student numbers. We've recovered and exceeded that. So, you know, the overall graph has come back and gone beyond where it was before the fee increase. And indeed, amongst the most deprived areas, students from the most underprivileged backgrounds, the dip was least. So they were hit least by the trebling of fees. So we've done really well in that. What we haven't done well in is part-time. And part-time is in a very, very difficult place. So I'm going to say some more about that and what employers can do to help. About 10,000 graduates a year going to finance, but it's a very small percent. It's about 4%. So it's a fairly tight definition, but it's quite a small percentage. The biggest disciplines that they come from are business and administrative studies and social studies. It's slightly better, this is 6 months after graduation, it's slightly better 40 months after graduation. I think it goes up to 6%. But it's still a small percentage. It's interesting, the difference between the discipline that students study and the career they go into. It's very marked in areas like engineering. Most engineers don't go into anything to do with engineering. Actually, quite a few of them go into the city. And with those who study maths or something you might think had an immediate application in a quantitative or analytical occupation, they don't always end up where you expect them to. So absolute numbers, quite good. Percentage-wise, not so great for finance. But these graduates are absolutely key to our growth, and we know the financial sector is a critical engine of that growth. There's some very good recent research that suggests that 1% increase in the share of the workforce with a degree can raise the long-run productivity by between 0.2 and 0.5%. So higher skills through graduates in the workforce lift our overall economic productivity. Graduate unemployment is relatively low, at under 4%, but by 2022, there will be 2 million more jobs requiring higher level, that is, graduate skills. So the demand is going to keep on growing. And there's still a graduate premium. So the most recent research from the IFS was suggesting that over their career, female graduates earn 3 times as much as female non-graduates, and male graduates earn twice as much. After 10 years, they earn twice as much as the non-graduates. And the demand is out there. The issue really is how job-ready these graduates are. You know, they come out with great knowledge of their subject. How much of that can be applied in the world of work? And that's where the plug is, because top talent doesn't appear by magic. I think employers can do an enormous amount to help with that. So paid internships, I stress the word paid internships, placements, so that students get an understanding of what it's like in the workplace. They can sniff the air, they know what a job feels like, they get some sense of whether that's a kind of occupation or career that they want to get engaged in. And part-time. Employer sponsorship of part-time study is absolutely critical. And we've submitted evidence to the Comprehensive Spending Review recommending some government changes, so eligibility for loans, for example, and some of the criteria about what constitutes part-time study, what they call study intensity. But employer sponsorship of part-time study is really critical. And I think this is a question of employers stepping up, not just being the recipients of talent, but helping to grow that talent, so that in helping to grow it, the talent can help their business.